The state of Warzone is rough. Between game bugs, cheaters running rampant, and complete apathy from the developers, I think it's time we discuss what's really going on. Pretty clearly, Call of Duty's in a weird place right now. Obviously, it's kind of that lull part of the year where they're focused on what's coming next. They're not putting out their best work. But Warzone is in a different spot because it actually came out with Season 3. So there's a lot of different things that we're going to be seeing over the next little bit that should be good. However, it doesn't change the fact that we're in a weird spot. So I wanted to take a look at a few things. Obviously, cheaters, some of the issues going on in the game, and then lastly, some other stuff that I think is pretty important to what's really going on behind the scenes, and while doing so, discuss a little bit of it. So immediately diving in, if you didn't know, Call of Duty has this page. It's called COD Updates on Twitter or on X or whatever you want to call it. 460,000 followers, and this is basically where they talk about the live game issues, fixes that are coming, patch notes, etc. But the thing about this is that there's a lot. There's like a whole crap load, and that is clearly not something that you want from a game that is a live service game. You want to see that they put out quite a few good updates, but every time there's an update, they have a lot to say in a negative way about their own damn game, and it's incredibly sad. So if we just scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll, and I mean, let's say May 29th is crazy, but I just want to go all the way back, if I can, to April 3rd and just recognize how much they are saying. Until the end of the month, we're going to be running a 25% off sale for all of my custom designed tees over on Expel.gg using code cookies. We've got stock in pretty much every size you can think, and to be clear, this isn't some trash that you get on one of those build your own shirt sites. We did a ton of testing on different shirts, paint styles, and we're even packaging every single one by these hands right here. You can also add a signature if you like, or even stickers, which I tend to put on my Yeti. Either way, the sale's not going to last forever, but the shirts probably will. And hey, if you're looking for another reason to buy, this will directly go to support mine and Brooke's honeymoon, so, you know, go grab a shirt. Thanks. Since Warzone itself, Season 3 launched, okay? So April 3rd drops, and here we are. You know, we've got our first, but, you know, overnight, we released a fix for an issue that prevented console players, yada, yada, yada. But these issues, I mean, look how much there is. I can literally just set this to scroll and we could chat for like 2 minutes and we still would not hit all the issues and all the things that they've had to go through and patch. And the sad part is they're still missing a ton of things and things that they like silently change and like busted elements of the game that have been busted since day one. I have a video coming up where there's been a no glint sniper scope that's been in the game since it dropped in Modern Warfare 2. And look, I'm not upset about it. I'm really not bothered. To be quite honest, the game works fine. I realize this is not something people want me to say. I enjoy playing Call of Duty. I love hopping in and playing Warzone. I obviously I do this for a job. And there are certain elements to it that are frustrating, you know, but I'm playing a video game. Like I have the best job in the world, but it doesn't change that people are frustrated that things like this even exist. But you could probably name off the top 10 different bugs, you know, but if you go over and you look, I bet only half of those bugs, if not less, are showing on what they have called a Trello board. So if you go to their Trello, you can see global known issues. Some visual effects from weapon inspects and reactive weapon blueprints can persist longer than intended, which is crazy that they're focused on blueprints first. Fixed scheduled. Finally, voice chat icons can remain on players' screens from previous matches. They're finally getting that fixed. Woo! Like, social menu displays at the main menu description while friend is in a match. I mean, I get dev errors every once in a while if I have my texture resolution set to high, even though it's not my fault. My 4090 can absolutely handle that, but my game will literally crash if I set my resolution higher, even though I get great frames. It's just the game isn't optimized well. I mean, there's stuff like that, but there's so many different things, and they've dropped these little secrets that they didn't mean to drop. And JGod had this great video the other day where he went on to talk about how Call of Duty just thinks we're dumb. And to be fair, most of the player base is pretty stupid. And I know that that's hard to hear, and I'm not trying to call out anyone in particular. I'm really not. But in reality, I get a lot of comments, and I read a lot of comments, and there's a good amount of people that are genuine humans. And I swear, like, a lot of people have brains, but then there's also a certain amount. Not really. Not really. I get some comments where it's like my verbiage has been so misinterpreted that it's completely different than what I said. And people are like, I can't believe that you believe that. And it's like, I didn't say that. I didn't say that in the slightest. That's not what I said at all. Like, whenever I talk about casuals, people think that I want casuals out of the game, but I don't want it out of the game. I want casuals in the game, but I also want sweats and players that are above average or even average to have the opportunity to go play BR instead of just solo casual. I think that's a terrible idea. It's a terrible game plan. But that's not the point. Regardless, you can see there's a ton of issues that happen throughout this game, and there's just so many. I mean, go over to Reddit, and this kills me. This is okay. So it's on Reddit. It says, I swear these updates are made by people who don't play the game. And I'm going to scroll down. And Nintendo Pro here says they 100% never played their own game in the past 5 years. If they did, solos would not be gone from the playlist, and the bugs that we have now would not exist. So what are they talking about? What's the big deal of what's going on here, right? So guy's like moving up to the building. He's trying to be quiet. You know, he's got a decent setup here. He's trying to like sneak into this building. He pulls out his heartbeat. He sees two guys are right in front of him, 20 meters away. In the exact moment this guy needs to hear things, a battle pass notifications pop up. Now, if you don't understand the way that these notifications work, I think Sally as a dog does a great job kind of making fun of it. Every time he levels up, he'll scream. He'll be like, I level up! Because they do these things that are meant to make you feel like you're gambling. If you've ever went and you've played on a slot machine, you know that they have specific noises that sound a specific way. And what that does is it kind of gets you addicted. All of this is psychology. All of it's psychology. But it exists like this because it's supposed to make you feel good. But if you're someone that doesn't, frankly, give a crap, then this happens in the worst moments. And it just goes and it goes. And then he's like, oh, I'm good. Oh, and a recon. Oh, okay. Let's keep it going. No, that's perfect. Yeah, so 27 seconds of that, and it just feels so gosh dang goofy. You know, it feels so weird that they would add that in, but it's all about that psychology to get you hooked. They want you to feel a specific way, and it's the same way that casinos do. It's the same way that gambling works. In fact, there was a point, this is gonna sound crazy, there was a point where we were building out, back when I used to stream, we were building out the audio effects for my notifications on the stream, and I had added in a casino effect because I was like, oh, well, this sounds good. And then I started thinking about it. And I was like, this feels like I'm going to get someone addicted to trying to like send money to me. And that is not my goal in the slightest. So I took out that noise because I realized what it could do. And these little noises do stuff like that. So they're focused on not fixing issues. And then you've got stuff like this that literally takes away from the gameplay loop, that takes away from what you're trying to do in the match. Don't even get me started on something like the freaking recon or the intel. Whenever you're doing one of those and it just starts going doom, 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 doom. But Swag, believe it or not, Swag, and this is not me talking smack on Swag, but usually when he makes videos like this and he's calling out Activision, he tends to do a pretty terrible job. But Swag actually had a video, and let me pull it up over here. Just a second, bear with me. So Swag had a great video where he talked about the state of Warzone, right? And the state of Warzone clearly is not perfect by any means, but he did a really good job. Usually in the past, he kind of just like talks smack and he doesn't know what he's talking about, but he actually had a ton to say. So I want to give props where props are due. Swag, like, this was great.
I feel like it's time to have one of those videos where you kind of sit down and really kind of tell things how it really is. We just had the season 4 update and it was the worst update in history.
All right, let's take a step back here. First of all, we've had some really bad updates. I don't know how many of y'all played Urzikstan, but there were some updates where they reverted everything good that they did about the game and they made everything worse on top of that. So to say it's the worst update, incredibly goofy. It was a bad update, but they're just not doing that much. And what they're doing is actually just a step back, which kind of sucks. So it isn't the worst update in history. And this isn't me trying to be contrarian by any means, but it is very funny how streamers are like, this is the best update ever. This is the worst update ever. This is the best update ever. This is the worst update ever. And you just don't want to do that. Like, find your middle ground, accept that some things are better, some things are worse. Obviously, you know, be a goldfish, but at the same time, kind of have a long enough memory to where you know what you're talking about, you know?
Lovely lag. Did I get banned or? Okay.
If you guys do agree with this message, make sure y'all drop a like. Also, I would love feedback in the comment section below. I would love for the community to voice their opinions, how they're feeling. Tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm not. Maybe I'm not seeing the full picture. But before you guys come to the video and say, yo, streamers ruin Warzone, this, that, and the third, I need you to really listen what I have to say. Because after the Season 4 update, things really have gotten out of hand.
You know what? I'm gonna put a pause right there. If you think that streamers ruin Warzone, I want exact examples from now on. Like, I need specific examples, and I want you to literally point out specific names, what they did, how it affected the game, and where we are now based on that. I need you to give me a fucking synopsis, because I'm so incredibly tired of hearing streamers ruined Warzone with no explanation whatsoever, because people just want something to point at, and I accept that with everything in me. We as humans do really love just having something to just be like, that did it. It was that thing. In reality, if you, I'm someone that really, really loves the butterfly effect. Like, I not the movie necessarily, but the idea of it. If you don't know, the butterfly effect is basically if you step on a butterfly in, you know, prehistoric times, it changes the entire future. One single detail can change the entire future. And it's because, you know, if you do something and then it changes how you are, you will react differently to somebody in the future. That person gets that reaction. They react to something else, yada, yada, yada. Everybody gets that ripple effect. It's a ripple effect of things happening. So I see how things go step, 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 step. I also have very good pattern recognition. So when people are like, streamers ruin Warzone, this isn't like me saying, I think they had no hand in it, but it is me saying, I don't know how you couldn't see how often the developers refuse to listen to creators that specifically tell them the audience wants this, like the player base wants this. But on the other side, I know there's a lot of people that are going to say they're casuals, and I didn't want that. I want this. I didn't want that. I want this. But the issue is between a series of different like data points and stuff like that, everybody can recognize what's really happening if you dive deep into it. So with that said, I would love to know each little ripple effect down the way. And maybe I'll hop in and I'll pull this in a video later and we talk about whether or not truly streamers ruined Warzone, because I think it's a fair point as long as you can back it up. And this, again, is not me trying to be like, you're wrong, but it is me saying I'm incredibly tired of hearing this with zero explanation, because there's never an explanation. It's always, oh, they're cheating. All right, sure, whatever. You know, it's like one of those, because obviously I don't cheat, but I get accusations all the time. What do you want me to do? You just want me to say, yep, I cheat. When I don't, I don't. So it's just one of those things. Either way.
And we just got to fix some things.
What's up, boys?
Yo, the server just went down, Nick.
That's why I'm here.
And to fix it?
No, I ain't gonna fix it.
To be clear, we're not gonna watch this whole video. We're gonna bounce around just a little bit. We're gonna check out some other things as well.
Boys,
but this is just the issues, right?
It kicks me off and tells me that you can't start until you update the game. So I updated. Then I boot the game up, and I get a dev error. And then I boot the game up, and now it gives me this.
I can't get in the game, guys. I have to get a job. I have to get a job. They remove solos.
Dude, oh my God. They got rid of solos. I saw a clip of Tim the Tap Man just bitching. It's like, bro, it's so funny to me because I created this whole spectating trend. I don't know if you know that. I'm the dude. It wasn't J-God. Like, I'm the dude that blew up spectating in Warzone, right? It was me. I made all this stuff. And this is all Tim does on it now. So I don't even touch spectating. It's actually incredibly depressing because I really at one point loved making spectating videos and like learning from it and like teaching people. But now that Tim's taken it over, it's just a waste of time because no one else can get views. But also it defeats the purpose of spectating because he's just laughing at most stuff. But I respect the hell out of it because of like his entertainment style of things is really funny. But at the same time, if that's all he does, where do you go next? Poor Tim, dude. This guy's on the struggle bus because they took out solos, but I feel like everybody else is mostly fine because it's like, all right, well, we can do this. That is personally why I believe whenever you do content on a specific game, you do have to diversify the kind of content that you do, because if one thing changes, you lose everything.
I really don't know what's going on with Call of Duty right now. Every time they update the game, it's never a smooth update for some reason. It's never
Pay to win bundles are goofy as hell.
a smooth update. I don't know why. They can't get an update right.
Why did you?
They always take
flip
one
it?
step forward, then 4 steps back. It doesn't make any sense. But one of the biggest takeaways I think that was really bad within the new season was the casual modes and the introducing of new casual modes, but they're replacing regular modes. So if you don't know.
So on that topic, instead of sitting here watching Swag fuss about this, that, or the other thing, what I realistically would like to do is kind of, we did this recently. We actually watched a video from Drifter, and he talked about the issues with the bots and stuff like that in Warzone. But he did recently drop another video. But instead of diving straight into that, before we do it, because we are going to dive into casual modes, and I think that's an important thing to talk about, I did want to take a look at some of Swag's comments. I know that sounds crazy, but you learn a lot about the community from reading comments, and it's the exact reason that I actually love reading comments on my own channel. Even if sometimes they can get a little weird, I do enjoy doing it. So let's go ahead and check out Swag's comment. Can I even do it? All right, here we go. So his top comment right here says, from a real OG standpoint, those who have been with COD from the very beginning, we're talking probably COD 4, this game does not deserve to be called Call of Duty anymore. I don't know if we remember like COD 1, COD 2, but that was like way early, like early World War style games. And I think that's fair. I think Battlefield focused on that title a little bit more, and this game doesn't really care as much about it. Nobody cares what you have to say. You're still going to play the deadbeat game. This is something I hear all the time. One thing that I think is pretty funny, if you actually do the math, right? A lot of people fuss because I make these videos where I will hop in and I'll review a bundle, and 99.99999% of the time during those videos, I will say, hey, this bundle is dog shit. You should not get it. Do not spend your money on this. But people see the title of the video saying, I bought this, and they immediately start fussing. Now, if I was to spend $50 every single day, I would be 1/109,000th of how much they make in a single day. And what I'm actively doing is telling people not to spend the money because I spent it so they don't have to. So if anything, I'm diverting sales away. I'm trying to keep people from spending the money because the game is in a weird spot. And a lot of the times, these things that they put out aren't great for Warzone players. If the bundles were cool, I'd be like, sure, go ahead and get it. But most of the time, they're terrible. And the second you change the skins, and this is my biggest pet peeve, by the way, whenever it comes to these bundles, the second you change the attachments, the skins change as well. So when you get these weapons, you want them to look a specific way. You're like, oh, that's sick. And then you get it and it sucks. Now we do have a video coming up where I look at some of the ghillie suits and I look at the bundles there, and I did spend quite a bit of money to do this video. But that's going to be a little bit different because I think those have a proper place in Warzone right now. But these like goofy ass skins that they're selling are terrible. But I think stuff like this, nobody cares what you have to say. You're still going to play the deadbeat game. Why would you trust somebody that doesn't play the game over someone that does play the game and actively is a part of the community? I feel like listening to someone that doesn't play it is dumber. Is that too much thinking for one day? Okay. Then Lion, I believe this is a creator, says Activision takes one step forward and 10,000 steps back. Yeah, it's about 4 steps, but I respect that. I do think that every time they update, it feels like they start going in the right place. You know, we get these updates where they will, you know, they made freaking Verdansk, and the update was actually good. They did a great job. And then we got season 4, and it was like, what the why are we here? How do we end up in this? Buying bundles will fix the game. That is also not true. That's why I'm not saying that buying bundles is, you know, if you want to hurt their pockets, don't buy bundles. But in my opinion, don't buy bundles because the bundles suck dick. They always do. They are never good. I've not bought a bundle and just stuck with it. You know what I mean? There's not been a moment where I was like, let me do this. I've just not. I've not done it. I've bought so many bundles at this point, and I never love what comes with it. There's not been a moment where I was like, I'm going to use this and it's going to be worth it. And for me, I make money on this. For you, you don't. So it doesn't necessarily make sense. This one is, bro, nobody works at Activision anymore. It's empty desks and AI. Yeah, I actually heard a horror story about somebody that came from Activision, or one of the studios at Activision, and tried to work somewhere else, and they tried to use Chat GPT for everything, and it did the worst job the people during the hiring process had ever seen. And this was from someone from my community. The next guy said, all we have to do is stop buying skins, Black Cells, Battle Pass, and let's just wait for new Battlefield. Yeah, I'm not saying we shouldn't do that, just to be clear, but the people that are buying these are not being swayed by whether or not someone on the internet says this. At the end of the day, we will probably be 10%. If they take a 10% loss, they add in something like a Black Cell. That's why Black Cell exists. That's why they started adding in things to the weapons and stuff like that. My point is, if you don't like what Call of Duty is doing, the only thing you can do is not play. Right? Like, we're talking about this now, but if you really, really hate it to that point to where you're upset and you're like, I'm just not going to buy stuff, just don't play it. The worse their numbers get, the more likely they are to change things up. But we're in the situation where we are not, the people that are writing online things are not the people that are spending the most money on the game. It's the people that have a couple hours a day, a couple hours a week even, to play the game, that hop on, they can't level things up, they buy stuff. It's the exact reason that in most other battle royales, you get all the weapons and all the attachments without having to level a thing up. But in this game, they want you to level it up because you know it's going to take a long ass time to level things up. So you're just going to buy the attachments on a weapon. And that's why usually in the battle pass, it's a decently meta set of attachments. So you just buy through the battle pass, which by the way is like $100. But that's neither here nor there. Let's go ahead and close out this group, and we will get to cheats probably last, but let's actually talk about casuals. This is a video, by the way, by Drifter, and it's called The Bot Problem. Now, I have not actually watched this video in any capacity.
Hey guys,
but we're going to.
So here today,
let's check it out.
I need your help. Well, your advice, really, because I've got a bit of an embarrassing problem. As you can tell from the thumbnail, it's a bot problem. And the bot problem isn't that major FPS titles are increasingly putting bots into multiplayer lobbies to fill them out and pretending that they're normal people. While that is annoying, and it's...
Actually, I'm going to add on to what he's saying right here. So we recently learned that skill-based matchmaking exists in the game, or not skill-based matchmaking, skill-based damage does exist for bots in Warzone. That is a thing that they can dynamically change. For me, that means, hey, look, I had a conversation about this a while back. I said, yes, they probably can do it. People always say, oh, they're too stupid to figure these things out. No, they probably know exactly how to do it, but in reality, they just don't, right? So in this case, sorry, my ear is like ringing. In this case, they clearly know what they're doing. But the problem is, are they doing it to real players? Are they affecting real players? But that's not really the point. I just wanted to bring that up. There may be a full video talking about this in the future. I doubt it. I think it's such a weird topic, and there's no way to prove literally anything. Nothing. Like, we cannot prove in any capacity a single thing, right? But we do know that bots have a tier of how good they can be. It's 1 through 5. 5 being closest to, or one of them being closest to, like, close to player kind of stuff. Does that make sense? Close to how a player would actually play. And if you hop in and you play solo casual, you can see that sometimes you'll run into a bot and you're like, is that a real player? Is that real? That's real. Is that? Nope, not real. That'll happen quite a bit. One thing I think they're also hiding, to Drifter's point here, is that they're dynamically changing the number of bots in solo casual. I say this as someone that has had to play quite a bit recently for content, and I am a 6 elimination death player, which means that when I hop in and I play these modes, I will notice, one, off rip, I hop into casual quads and 10 seconds. It takes 10 seconds max to get into a full lobby. I hop into solo casual. It'll take about the same amount of time as it takes to get into a regular match of solos. I'm not kidding. And usually for me, that's like 3 or 4 minutes, which is very, very weird. And I started noticing that, and I started thinking about it. Okay, let me count up the number of players that are in the match, like real players that I can guarantee are real. And I started noticing it was a different ratio that I was running into each match. And usually I was actually running into more players that were real than I was bots. So my guess, which I have no proof of, is that they are dynamically changing the number of bots in this mode. So to his point where they're adding them in and they don't want to tell us, I think that's what they're doing. And I think that's what this test is. And maybe it'll come out in the future that that's what's going on, because at no point did they say guaranteed in solos, unlike they did with quads. With quads, they said it. Quads has 120 bots and 28 real players or something like that. And in solos, they never said a word. So that's my conspiracy theory right now that's, you know, kind of on topic. But either way, let's keep going.
Also not the problem that I can't get into bot lobbies like other streamers, and by bot lobbies I'm referring to lower skilled players here. But my bot problem is that I can't seem to find any kind of enjoyment from killing AI opponents or bots or artificial.
We're going to dive into the comments of this one too, because I saw a few that are very, very good. And I love hearing, like, well, I guess seeing things from people that they're genuinely thinking, and it makes me very happy.
Intelligence or anything that's not a player. While at the same time, my health has caused my FPS skills to erode to the point where it's a lot more difficult for me to kill real players these days, which leaves me in a personal conundrum where I can't enjoy single-player games because it's unsatisfying to kill the AI, but I also can't compete very well in multiplayer games, so while I do enjoy hunting the players there, I'm on the receiving end most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that a lot of people feel this exact same way. I mean, personally, I enjoy a game that has some sort of like competitiveness to it. And point blank, I hate casual solos. I'm going to tell you right now, I want casual solos in the game, but I hate it. I hate it with everything. I mean, you do not play it the same way that you play regular solos. You do not learn from that the same way that you do regular solos. The only thing you can learn, maybe, is rotations, how to properly use weapons, but you will not properly learn how to take engagements. You won't learn how to take like better position. You won't learn how to like find people via your mini map. There's a lot of things that just don't work for that mode. I don't want to go through it in detail, but I will say it is not a good mode for someone that is actively trying to get better. If you're trying to not think, it is great, but you don't really properly learn. And I know that people are going to argue their point on this one. And to that I say, I have thought it through so much more than you realize. I could sit down and play a match of solo casual and explain to you every single detail that means that you're not getting better. But then people, and this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, people are going to misconstrue and say, oh, so because of that, you just don't like that and you don't think it should be in the game. It's like, that's not what I'm saying. That's not my point. My point is you don't learn from it. So if you're trying to learn, it's a hard mode to learn in, unless you're starting from zero. If you're starting at like middle ground, you kind of understand the game and stuff like that, it's just not going to help you. But at the end of the day, I understand people don't want to think. Those same people, rest assured, I have learned, the same people that don't want to think while they're playing a game will not think when they're leaving a comment. This is something I had to learn the hard way, and I had to just cut off comments like in my brain, like be like, all right, I'm not looking at them for a little bit, because I spent a little bit of time reading comments in my last casual video, and I was like, oh God, like no one understood anything that I said. I said I laid out a point at the beginning of the video. I explained my point in a 3-tiered like story basically, and at the end of it, people just thought that I hated that there was casuals in the game. I was like, fuck, what's the point in even having an intellectual conversation with anybody on the internet? So it just like really frustrated me. So there's a great video by Doug that just dropped recently, and he talks about something similar to this, and it like kind of helps some things click for me. So I'm just gonna make the content I'm gonna make. People can be mad and bitch if they want.
The bot problem is not entirely unique to me. As I mentioned in other videos, other people said they felt the same way, but it doesn't appear to be a very common problem. Most individuals seem to be quite content to kill the AI and play single-player games and do PvE raids and things like that. And in this instance, that's what I want to be. I want to be one of these more casual gamers that can enjoy those experiences. I want to be a normal person that can enjoy normal single-player games, but right now my mind and my biases just kind of won't let me do that. So I'm bringing this problem to YouTube. I'm going to talk to all of you about it in hopes that somebody will have a magic piece of advice that can help me move forward.
Now, we don't have to watch the whole video. That is enough to understand what he's going to talk about in this video. And so we're going to absolutely dodge doing that to the best of our ability. And what we're going to do in the meantime and in between time is instead, like before, read some of the comments. Because I think, again, hopping in here and reading the top comments is probably the best thing that you can do. So Danny Live said, it's funny how I've literally gone in the opposite direction. I don't play multiplayer games anymore. They've lost fun in my eyes. Now, I do love a good solo player game. I actually love Zelda. I love Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom. I don't get to play it as much as I'd like because obviously I play video games for a job. After I'm done recording, I don't want to play more video games. I want to spend time with my wife. I want to focus on stuff like that. I want to focus on moving forward in life, you know? But, and another misconstrued point from another video that got taken way out of context, which is so funny. But yeah, I love a good single player game. And if I didn't do this for a living, that's what I would do. I'd play that. I'd play Ratchet and Clank. I'd play stuff within that category because for me, multiplayer means competitive, right? I want to be a little bit competitive for the most part. But there are times where I do want to play a little bit more passively and not think. And that's usually when I'm playing with a friend that is not as good. I don't want to try my ass off to carry them and then get frustrated because for me, if I have to try, then I have to be competitive. If I'm being competitive, I get upset when I lose. And that's just a very difficult thing for me. So I feel what's being said, but I think this right here, God, where's the comment? This is it right here. We're gonna come back to that in a second, but let's keep going. So Printer Stan said, to me, PvP and PvE scratch different itches. Agreed. PvP feels the same void that playing basketball or when in a poker tournament. It's the competition and friendship. PvE is what I consider to be a more private enjoyment. It's like reading a good book or watching a movie or a drawing. Oh man, this is like beautiful thinking, by the way. It's just so truly incredible. I don't want to talk to a friend when I'm reading or watching a movie I've never seen. Whew. Look, I love Brooke, but man, she is one of those people where you will be, I'm thinking about this. She's one of those people where you're watching something, you're watching with her, she's like, what's happening? And it's like, I live with you, you know, like we're in the same situation. We're watching the same movie at the same time. I don't know. Is it a sequel? It's not a sequel. I don't know. I don't know. It just cracked me up reading that. I started thinking about it, but oh God, Brooke, I freaking love this woman, but she will tear a movie apart, like just in the most intelligent way. Just look at something like, you ever watch The Flash? And in The Flash, it's like, this dude has super speed. How's he stopping and talking to everybody? Wait, this episode would have been over in 8 seconds if he just went and did the thing he was supposed to do, but instead he talked to the guy. Like, is it ego? Like, what is it? Why does that happen? Like, one of those people. And it happens in like movies where it just doesn't make sense, but it is very funny. I've had to like accept it, but sometimes we'll just be watching like a video game movie. It's just like, why are they doing it? It's like, I don't know. I'm just here, dude. It's a video game world. You just can't trust it. It's a different world. I don't know. Defeating enemies in a single player game is like solving a puzzle. I like that. And here I am playing in private matches with all bots. No grinding, no rage, just me and the AI. Just having fun with the gunplay. I'm pushing 30. Bro, we got to stop acting like 30 is you are crippled. I don't know why we're to this point, but when you hit 30, you're not going to die all of a sudden. We know that 30 is like young, right? We are aware of that. Unless you're an 8-year-old, 30 is still young. Why? Like, don't, bro, I'm pushing 30. I can't deal with this shit no more. Get off my porch, you know, like that type of stuff. And I don't have the mental fortitude to deal with players at all anymore. That's so interesting. What did these guys say? 30 is young. See, damn it. 30 is young, man. I'm 32 with no problems since I grew up playing FPS games. But yeah, I get playing against bots all games used to be that way. No EP though. I'm curious. I'm 28 and ranked in Crimson. 2.1 KD in Black Ops 6, so I don't really see the problem, to be honest. Your age has nothing to do with your mental fortitude. Yeah, that's true. I'll be 40 literally tomorrow, and there's nothing like crapping on those unemployed sweats. I love it. I'm not the best by far, but I think it keeps me younger and sharper to go toe-to-toe with the youngins. I actually think that you will live longer because you will actively do things if you are going toe-to-toe on something like that, trying to be competitive, trying to stay active, trying to keep your brain going. People, I'm pretty sure I'm not even gonna step into that realm. So here we go. This is the big thing. This is really the thing that I wanted to talk about, bringing this up. And this is... Look, some of y'all should just go ahead and tune out. I'm not going to lie. Just click off the video, because at this point, you're just going to get pissed off. And if you get pissed off listening to this, you want a participation trophy and you're a little bitch. Those are not mutually exclusive. Not at the same time. Just if you get angry at this right now, if you get angry, you bitch. So I think gaming, for the record, you can want a participation trophy. Everybody can do that. That's fine. We're human. That's okay. But getting angry, it makes you a bitch. I think gaming has changed beyond what it once was. I believe people enjoy winning, and not necessarily do they enjoy games. Until relatively recently, enjoying a game came with it a desire to explore its depth and develop a level of mastery at engaging with it, which is, by the way, why I actually loved playing Zelda growing up. It was introduced to me by my dad, and I just loved playing Zelda because you had these little puzzles and you had to complete them, move forward, and you had to figure things out, and you had to piece things together from like different areas throughout the map or the game. And it really tested you. But now games don't do that. Even a lot of like the new Zelda, like Tears of the Kingdom, is not like that for the most part. There's some, but not everything. At some point in more modern times, that perspective shifted, and my theory is that those types of players aged out of the hobby. With the modern world built on instant gratification and removal of friction in as much of life as possible, winning has become more important than actually playing. And if game A doesn't let you win, game B will. People call it Fortnite-ification or TikTok-ification or whatever, but I really do think the approach most people that play video games now are playing them to see that game's version of a victory screen, not to engage with the depth of the game. TLDR, a lot of modern gamers don't like games, just winning, and many studios are on a race to the bottom, true, to monopolize your time. Just like I keep talking about with Call of Duty. This is the reason I keep bringing it up. It isn't just to be an asshole. It's that's what they're doing. They care about your time. They care about holding your attention, because the more retention you have in a specific area, the more money they will make long term. So they will give you as much you win to as many players as possible. Let's see what Drifter had to say. That's a perspective I hadn't yet considered. I actually can't believe he didn't consider that. This is something that I feel is becoming more and more common. It's actually my biggest pet peeve with the gaming industry right now. I wish we could see more and more games that would stop doing that, stop focusing on that instant gratification. I think there's a certain amount to it, but it's just, I think, hard for them to turn a large profit. And that's why there's so many issues right now. But to move on just a little bit, first, I want to say, let's talk about how many players play this game, right? So Call of Duty, if you don't know, has one way to check how many players are playing the game. We learned recently that this exact thing falls at a rate of 2 times the average player across the board in other means, meaning that if you go and you check the number of players on Steam, you don't have an actual number, you don't have an actual percentage. We don't know the exact way to get that, but if you know who Sub1KD is, he has a lot of information on stuff like this. You should go check out his YouTube. Very informed guy. Love all the stuff that he puts out. Sub1KD. That is his name. Go check it out. He talks about the Steam charts and the player count situation. But what he learned is that Steam basically declines at 2 times the rate as other places to play. I don't know, platforms. So right here you can see what's going on is over the last 3 months, this is our spike right here. This is Warzone drops, and then the weekend hits, and our peak players for the first weekend of Verdansk was 140,000, okay? And you'll see it slowly decline over and over and over until it kind of evens out for 3 weeks, and people are enjoying it. You know, we hit that middle ground halfway through the season, you get another peak, and then it starts declining again because things start getting a little bit worse. And you'll notice that the people on PC, they actually play a little bit less, and the reason why is because they will run into cheaters a lot. The people on Steam tend to be people that, 1, play a lot of other games, 2, don't have time for bullshit, and 3, also it's where you cheat. You know, like I've had some conversations recently on a video where I talked to a cheater, and he explained that basically you only need 1 phone number for as many accounts as you want to make through Steam. So people can just make another account like that and they're back on, and they use maybe like a spoofer or something like that to, by the way, a little confusion here that people get lost in. Call of Duty does ban hardware. They just have spoofers that can spoof your hardware ID so that you can get past that. So when people drop in comments and they say, hey, Call of Duty should ban this, Call of Duty should ban like this, Call of Duty should ban like this, Call of Duty should ban like this, they have gone through the steps to do literally everything that they can to figure out ways to ban people. But there's always another way around, and that's kind of the frustrating thing about cheaters. And we're going to talk about how crazy it is in just a second. But as you can see, we kind of leveled out pretty decently here. I mean, obviously, we'll see what happens after this week, but the Steam charts are not doing too shabby. And we don't know the exact percentage Steam is of the player base. We know that the stuff that's come out in the past is not accurate. But as you can see, we're not doing too shabby. The player base is kind of evening out at a decent number. We're peaking at around 100,000 every single weekend, and we'll see where that goes. But people aren't getting super tired of the game, which is really nice. So while people are going to say that Call of Duty is in a really bad place, I'm not trying to take away from the fact that it is in a really bad place. But I do think that a lot of people just don't give a shit. Like, it's not as big of a deal as we make it out to be whenever we're making these videos. Us content creators that make these videos saying, Call of Duty's dying. At the end of the day, my goal whenever I make this stuff is to be as honest as physically possible. And I know it upsets a lot of people that I do it in one way or I do it another way, yada, yada, yada. I don't give a fuck at this point. It doesn't, there's no amount of like, I can care, because I literally have the audience split in 3 ways where it's like, they're super this way, super this way, or they just like agree, you know, like I have to just share my opinion, and people are going to say what they're going to say. That's kind of where I've made it to. But diving a little deeper, you can see the loss over time. So April, the peak was 139. The peak in May was 112. The peak in June, is that where we're at? Yeah, June is 105. So we're doing pretty decent. Like, it's not a weird spot to be in. Like, we're doing okay. But is it the best it's ever been? No. I wish that it was going up. But to my point earlier, I just wanted to point out that they make so much money, guys. So much money, to the point to where the player count, when we look at it, just doesn't matter. So if you ever wonder, back in the day, Warzone made $5.2 million a day. Back in 2020, that's what they were making, is $5.2 million a day. So even with having a declining player base, what they usually do is that they'll throw in things like, oh, you got the battle pass? Ooh, why don't you spend $30 real and get the black cell? Why don't you buy this really expensive bundle? And by the way, that exact thing is the reason why I make my bundle videos, is because I usually try and get the more expensive bundles. So it's like, all right, if I can tell them not to buy this, then maybe I can help. I don't know, but it's better for me to spend the $30 because it's a business expense than it is for you to spend it. And that's usually the way that I come at these things. But the last thing we're going to talk about is whether or not cheaters are actually killing the game. And like I said, it's not like, it's one of those things where clearly you can see even the Steam player base is like kind of leveling out. And it's not like super low, but it's not super high, right? It's not going up, it's not going down. It's just kind of leveling it out at a pretty decent number. And 100,000 peaking on Steam is kind of crazy. We don't have exact numbers. No one has exact numbers. They don't exist. But we can have guesstimations, and this is pretty good. Like, I'm going to say that. So I think most people just really don't give a shit. But what we're going to watch next is a video from Stoda? I don't know how to say his name. I really got to get better at pronouncing his names. I saw a video by the Tactical Brit. I want to kind of react in the moment. And I'm pretty sure Tactical Brit, Westy, and Stod all made a very similar video, but I already watched Tactical Brit's video. Much love, bro. So we're going to watch this. But the description is Warzone cheaters seem to be returning at an alarming rate. Has the Warzone Verdansk hacker problem gone too far again? And the title is Warzone cheats are unstoppable. And they are in a weird situation. They really, really are. So let me go ahead and pull up his video and we will check it out.
The other day we were playing regular Warzone, as you do, but this match was especially brutal. I am barely able to survive a single gunfight. And I might not be the best player, but I can usually get a few kills, but this time it's just not happening.
Yep.
I am desperately trying to just survive this hellscape demon lobby, but would you believe it, my luck gets worse.
I literally ran around with rocks for ages.
Whoa. That guy just did a 180 and sniped me. I don't know if that's normal. I do not know if that's normal. No. The guy on the top of the
So a couple of things that I'm gonna take note of. First, if you look at his input, he is on mouse and keyboard. Okay, he is not on controller. Controller players often will run into less players that are cheating because a lot of the people that are cheating are on mouse and keyboard. Don't know why. I'm not saying it's a proportionate amount. I'm just saying there are a lot of people that are on mouse and keyboard, and mixed input actually makes your games more difficult. So, one, playing in modes that have more players, playing in modes that give rewards, something like ranked mode, and playing in modes that are, well, not playing in modes, playing in matches with higher tiered players, and playing just with a lot of people, basically. Like, those things will get you running into cheaters a lot more. So if you're ever wondering why you see a lot of streamers running into cheaters and stuff like that, tends to be that.
Blue. The guy on top of green. I'm looking at him. He's not even aiming, and he's shot me like in the head instantly. We get taken out by a potential cheater, looking right at them, and then suddenly they hit a cross-map snipe. As you can imagine, I was shocked by this rare event. But usually we just try and avoid them until the end game and hope they somehow get wiped out. Unfortunately, not this time. They survived until the end and instantly killed us. On top of this, of course, it is a full 4-man out-of-region cheater team from Asia. We thought maybe they might be trying to hide the cheats, potentially to avoid being reported and banned. But no, as we spectate them, pretty much just straight headshots and looking at people directly through walls.
So, there is a little bit of confusion going on with cheating right now. Because what happens is there's kind of this like waning and waxing, you know, like how the moon does, where it's like more cheaters, less cheaters, more cheaters, less cheaters. And that's that back and forth between Ricochet actually doing a decent job, or not necessarily that, but then basically like suing the pants off of people or sending cease and desist or whatever it may be, or Ricochet actually figuring out something. It's that, and then the 2-week period that it takes for cheaters to come back. Or if you're a player that plays at a higher tier, what usually happens is that you'll get the players that are a little bit more, they're trying to hide it, basically, is what I'm trying to get at here. They're going to try and hide it a little bit more. It's harder for the anti-cheat to catch things of players trying to hide it. They know what they're doing, you know? So with that in mind, that's why a lot of people in the low tiers will get those straight up rage hackers. That's why these people that play in the average lobbies will get straight up rage hackers, because a lot of the times they get knocked out. However, something like this, something like a level 29 player playing against decent players, what's happening is these guys aren't getting banned. And I've ran into people that are running cheats that are ran from Russia, and they're quickly getting put back up once a Ricochet thing happens. But because they're in Russia, cease and desists do nothing. Like they're fine. There's nothing that can happen from Activision to a company that's in Russia. That's why a lot of these companies are switching over to stuff like that. So if you're seeing people that are cheating for long periods of time, most of the time they're getting cheats that are Russian or, you know, have somehow eluded these cease and desists. So
obviously now we're spectating them, and we give them a report for cheating. Usually, if it's a full group, at least 1 or 2 of the group will get ricocheted and kicked out of the game after being reported so much by other players in the lobby.
How are you not playing ranked, man?
Go
cheat in ranked.
Go cheat in ranked, because we're... Oh, my word.
They're also just fresh accounts.
You know what? That makes me feel a lot better about that game. That makes me feel...
All right, so one guy just got kicked. You can see on the left-hand side, player 1 is gone.
A lot better. I was literally like, what the f is going on? These people just have the most insane...
You can see, well, it just disappears whenever he moves because the quality of the video is so low, but SKL disconnected.
Oh, one of them got kicked.
Report the push guy. Yeah, make sure you report the push guy.
Yeah, well, I did.
I report them all. I report them all. I think I have anyway.
Jesus Christ, dude. Come on, COD.
Oh! Oh!
I'm going to skip ahead just a hair.
Hopefully he runs out of ammo and then
He's
he doesn't
terrible as well. He doesn't even realize.
2v1 situation, this guy is the one.
He hasn't got any plates. No, he has realised that the south. He just don't know which one's.
This is just aim assist, guys.
He's got a reload, full on ammo, and he's gone.
Yes! Yes! Come on! Incredible! Yes! Oh, so good.
So the other players were won, luckily.
We're watching 2 of the players from the group get kicked from the game, and they lose the match mid-gunfight, much to our enjoyment. So we excitedly join another round of Warzone, eager to revel in our minor victory. We play out our next match for most of the round again, and once again, it was an incredibly sweaty, almost ranked feeling lobby where we can barely survive every engagement. But then something strange happens.
From the hill behind. Oh,
yeah.
It's the cheaters from last game who are instantly
Oh,
banned.
it's the cheaters. It's the cheaters.
Oh yeah, he's the guy that got banned.
Yeah, these are the guys. These are the cheaters.
So he's not been banned.
So he's not banned. He just has to go. Or he's made no account. I mean, guys.
No,
I
it's
mean,
the exact same
these are
account
the
with the
lobbies.
exact same level.
Yeah, it's the
It's
same
the
guy.
exact same account with the exact same level.
Guys, I need a res. I know that they're
he's not
cheating,
banned.
but
So TLDR, these cheaters come back. Clearly, you see that. But I think we're just in this weird spot where cheating is getting so advanced and AI and stuff like that is getting so advanced on both sides of the table, right? You know, the cheating AIs, the getting ahead on like the code and finding out the code and stuff like that Call of Duty has done to keep cheats from working. Like both sides are fighting so hard, and I don't know the exact reason why Call of Duty gets this so bad. Clearly the anti-cheat has always been a problem. Like, don't get me wrong. Clearly that is an issue. However, I think there's just a lot of cheaters in Call of Duty because there's a lot of cheaters in Call of Duty. Like, there's a lot of people that want to cheat in Call of Duty. It's an easy thing to hop in and cheat on. So I think we're in the situation where cheating is just going back and forth. And obviously, if you hate cheaters, that's fine. Go play something else. I obviously hate cheaters. I would love to enjoy Zelda. Like, that's where I'm at. That's what I'd love to do. But clearly, I make content on the game. It is what it is. You know, a lot of people are going to be like, go get your McDonald's application. Words are eluding me today. I don't know what's going on. But cheating's in a weird spot. You know, a lot of other games don't deal with this at the same rate. I don't have an explanation for that. I'm sure someone could hop in and have that conversation. We may have it in the future. I would love to do that. But I don't know how badly the things that we bitch about when it comes to Call of Duty directly affect the number of players that play the game. I don't think it's as big of a deal as we make it for people that are like really in there. You know, I think the average player really doesn't care. I think the next thing is Call of Duty's also by the way, the reason that casuals exist, it's not about, how does the casual mode work? Why do people enjoy casual? No, the reason casuals exist is because they want to give you a more, you know, like we were talking about earlier, they want you to get that win. They want you to feel better. It's a race to the bottom, like that guy was saying. But the big thing is that if they are trading out real players for bots, that means there's less of a likelihood for you to run into a cheater. So even though the cheating situation may not get perfect, because they have casuals, it really doesn't matter. So they could let loose just a little bit, you know, come off of the gas pedal just a hair on Ricochet, and we wouldn't know if we switched to an all casual based mode. So I think that's what we're looking for in the future, which I think is probably the worst part about all of this. I recently hopped on Twitter and I said something and everybody's going to feel one way or the other about it. And I'm not trying to take away from the fact that casual mode is good. I think it's a great way for a lot of people to enjoy the game. And I get that I am not the target audience for it. I don't want to play it. I just want to be very clear. I don't want to play it. Okay. But I do think that, like that guy said in that comment, that it is a race to the bottom. So I wanted to read out my tweet. This is probably one of the last things I'm really going to hit here. But on, what is it, May 30th, I said, casuals might save Warzone, but it's going to ruin the community, or at least what's left of it. And I'm talking about like diehards, people that really like want to be a part of this, people that really love it, people that want to share their experience with other players. And that's who I'm talking about. This mode is more divisive than the matchmaking system, cheating, and input choices combined. It's exacerbating the victim and participation trophy mindset at a rapid pace. All I'm fighting for is the choice. And this is where people continuously get confused anytime I mention it, is they think that I want it gone. I actually just want everybody to like be able to play their mode. I think that like if casuals is going to be in the game, then it needs to have a full 4 playlist, solos, duos, trios, quads, or at least like solos, quads, you know, like that would be great. But then we should also have solos, duos, trios, quads, regular BR. And then you should also have ranked in trios. That should also exist. The same exact thing should exist for Rebirth. I get it. It's a lot of different things to keep up with, but at the same time, there's definitely enough players. The reason that it exists in the capacity that it does, where they say, oh, we don't have enough players to fill these playlists, yada, 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 is because the matchmaking system is so strict that it actually makes it not good. It makes it hard to get a lobby with the players that you want in it. So they need to loosen the matchmaking just a little bit so that they can fill every single lobby. That is the solution. That is the solution. That's neither here nor there. Anyway, all the top voted comments on my content are talking about how I don't want the mode, but that's just not what I'm saying. Taking away the option is wrong, but they just want to see if they can put bots in every mode. And that's what people fail to realize. And I'm not trying to say that, again, this is a bad mode. I think it's an incredible mode. I think it has its place. It has its place for the people that don't want to like try their asses off all the time. The people that hop on and don't have time to play the game. They don't want to worry about fighting sweats, yada, yada, yada. Like, I think it exists to do that and, you know, keep these people buying. But it's neither here nor there. Again, Warzone as we know it is gone. Now, these are some of the comments that I got. I'm so tired of streamers complaining about Call of Duty making more casual game modes. The majority of us are not streamers and just want to enjoy the game. You guys need to get off your high horse. I also have a solution. Make more ranked play for people that are good. Or just leave in the regular modes. I don't know why you have to expect people to play ranked. I don't want to play ranked. I should just be able to play against regular players. I don't know where the confusion is. Like, I'm not hopping on trying to like joke on people and be like, you're slammed. Like, it's goofy. As you can see, I responded and I said, I'm not complaining that they're making more casual modes. I'm angry that they're taking away the other modes. Another comment. The only reason you don't like casual is because you have less lower skilled players to stream yourself killing and instead are being left with higher concentration of players closer to your own skill level. I get it, you make money from it, but just leave players to enjoy themselves playing whatever mode they want to play and stop being a killjoy. And casual isn't for sweats like yourself. You going into that mode is quite frankly pathetic on your part and everyone else of a high skill level. It's obviously for casual players who don't care or have a life and no time to become a pro at standard Warzone. The funny thing is I would guarantee the dude that wrote this probably plays more than I do. Like, or at least close, bro. Like, I think a lot of people have gotten to the point where they think that they're casual because they suck dick at Call of Duty. In reality, they just suck dick at Call of Duty. You're not a casual. Casual is just like a time constraint thing, a mindset thing. Like, it's, oh, I don't have time. I'm just going to do it with my friends. I'm just going to have a good time. What happens, happens. But if you want to write all this shit up Like if you can genuinely write things like this up, you're not a casual, bro. You're taking this shit way too seriously. Casual players don't take this shit seriously, bro. Like that's my struggle whenever I read stuff like this. And this is why whenever I read it, I'm like, what is going on? It's like no one listens. I swear to God, no one listens. No one makes it to the point where it actually listens. And then Killa said, I get it. Streamers make their money killing shit players, not bots. They're not going to say it out loud, but that's the crux of why streamers do not like casual modes. Again, I don't, I don't two-box, I don't VPN. I don't need anything like, oh, that's literally what I said. I hope they keep solo casual and bring back normal solos. That's what I want, you fucking idiot. I said, brother, I don't two-box or VPN. I've repeatedly said this and do not approve of it. It's just, I don't even know. And then it's Chris Blake says, I have a great idea. Stay away from casual modes because you aren't a casual player. They took away the choice. I had no option. I don't want to play it, bro. I don't know. I'm in this weird position where it's like, I don't want to play this, but I have to play it, you know, because I always play solos. And then people leave comments on my videos. I think this is one of those comments where it's like, yeah, but you play solos only because you have no friends. Other streamers won't play with you. It's like, all right, so do you want me to be friends with streamers? Or like, do you not want me to be friends with streamers? Like, what is it that you want? Like, do you want me to fall into this bubble, or do you not want me in the bubble? It's just, I think the thing about content creation is that it's just not there's no win. The win is at the end of the day, I can take care of my family. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at mentally. But TLDR for this video, look, Call of Duty's fucking being Call of Duty, bro. Like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but Call of Duty's doing its Call of Duty thing where, you know, it got good. It sucks. It got good. It sucks. It got good. It sucks. We're probably going to change the game entirely and then screw everything up, and then we're going to do it also for the sake of money. So, like, Call of Duty's doing its Call of Duty thing. Call of Duty's in a weird spot. Everybody's going to make content on them. But in reality, the people that are being affected the most are not the people that Call of Duty gives a shit about, which is why we don't see, like, everything that Call of Duty does is data driven, right? This is why Warzone 2, even though, like, it was bad, showed up because they looked at data, but they forgot about the human element behind the data. So that's why a lot of this, like, a lot of the things that happen is without thinking about the human element behind the data that they receive. So they look at the data and they're like, oh, we should do this. And then they do it and they're like, oh, they fucking hate it, dog. And I think that's probably the funniest thing, honestly. That's probably the funniest thing, but it is what it is, bro. Like, that's where I'm at. I just don't care that much. I just don't, you know? And I don't think if there's something you take from this, stop caring so much. We're going to do this again, and I'm going to say the same thing at the end of the video. We're going to go through all the drama that's going on with the game, and I'm going to say, it really doesn't matter at the end of it. And I guarantee the people that comment on the video are going to be like, well, I didn't make it there, but this guy, all he does is bitch. Whatever, man. Look, I appreciate the hell out of y'all. I hope y'all know we got a crazy deal going on in the merch right now. 25% off. Obviously, there was a little pop-up, but I love you. All right. You cutie patootie with the nice little booty. I'll see you some fucking good looking ass. All right, I'm out of here. Bye.